My name is Taylor Morrison. I am 31 years old, and I am a photographer. 6 weeks ago, at my parents' 30th anniversary party, my mother looked me in the eye in front of 30 people and said, "You don't need to know, Taylor. You are not part of this trip. Someone has to watch Mia's kids." They were announcing a 2-week vacation to Bali. My sister was going. Her husband, even her 2 kids, everyone but me. Because someone had to stay home and watch the house. Be available, be helpful. What they didn't know, that same afternoon, I had gotten an email from the Hartwell Gallery in Boston, offering me a solo exhibition, scheduled for the exact same week as their trip. What happened next changed everything. Before I tell you how this ended, please take a moment to subscribe if stories about finding yourself resonate with you. Drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from. Now, let me take you back to where this really started. I was 24 when I moved into my parents' basement. September 2019. I had just lost my apartment after a layoff, and I packed my entire life into 8 boxes. My mother stood in the doorway and said, "Of course you can stay, sweetie, just until you get back on your feet." Then she paused. "And while you are here, could you pick up Mia's kids from school? Just until you find a new job?" I said yes. I was grateful. I was temporary. That was 7 years ago. The temporary part never ended. The gratitude became a habit. And somewhere along the way, I stopped being a daughter and became infrastructure. The kind you don't notice until it stops working. At 26, I won a local photography contest, $500. I was so excited I could barely hold the check steady when I showed my parents at dinner. I had been taking photos for 2 years by then, teaching myself, staying up late to edit after everyone went to bed. My mother smiled. "That is nice, honey. Very artistic." She took a sip of wine. "But you need a real career plan. Speaking of which, can you watch Aiden and Sophie this weekend? Mia has a work retreat." My father didn't even look up from his plate. "Photography is a nice hobby, Taylor. Your sister has a real job." Something wilted inside me that night. I stopped showing them my work. That $500 became seed money for a better camera. 2 years later, my grandmother died, Grandma Lily. She was my father's mother, and she was the only person in the family who ever asked to see my photographs. Really asked, not out of politeness, but genuine curiosity. I was the only one who cried at her funeral. A week later, an envelope arrived in the mail, my name handwritten in her shaky script. Inside was a check for $15,000 and a note on the back of a bookmark, "For your freedom, don't tell them." Grandma Lily, my mother, saw me holding the envelope that afternoon. "What did she give you?" "We should pool inheritance for a family fund." I lied. "Just a note. She didn't leave me money." That day, I opened a secret bank account. That is when I decided they couldn't know about anything that mattered to me. By 29, the pattern had solidified completely. Monday mornings, I drove Mia's kids to school. 6:45 pickup. They lived 20 minutes away. Tuesday afternoons, my parents' grocery shopping. They would text me lists. Wednesday, kids again, plus homework help. Thursday, emergency babysitting, which usually meant Mia had a date night. Friday, clean my parents' house, top to bottom. Weekends, family time. Which meant more unpaid labor disguised as togetherness. I calculated it once. 25 to 30 hours per week. At $18 an hour, a modest rate for nanny, housekeeper, and personal assistant work. That is $23,400 per year, times 7 years. $163,800 in free labor. I kept a spreadsheet, not to weaponize it. Just to prove to myself I wasn't crazy, that the exhaustion was real, that the resentment creeping in at the edges wasn't me being ungrateful. My mother said it once to her friend Nancy, in the kitchen, when she thought I wasn't listening, "It is so nice having Taylor around. Like having live and help, but family." I wasn't family. I was infrastructure, so I built something else, something secret. I started an Instagram account at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday when I couldn't sleep. Called it Invisible Woman Fae Collective. I posted my first photo, a shot of a woman's hands doing dishes, a child's painting on the fridge behind her, the kitchen clock showing 11 p.m., the caption, "After everyone sleeps, she is still working." Within 2 years, I had 12,000 followers. Within 3, I was selling prints. Within 4, galleries were reaching out. I would stay up until 3 in the morning editing photos, uploading work, responding to messages. I documented other women's invisibility while living in my own. I photographed nannies, housekeepers, daughters like me, women whose work held up entire worlds they weren't seen in. I poured everything into that project. Every frustration, every dismissed comment, every time someone treated me like furniture. It all went into the work. And it was good. People saw it, people understood, just not the people I lived with. Grandma Lily saw me when no one else did. She gave me the only inheritance that mattered, permission to leave. I just hadn't used it yet. By the spring of this year, I was 31 and still living in my parents' basement. Still being called the helpful one instead of by my name. Still disappearing a little bit more every day. The financial cost was one thing, $163,000 over 7 years. That number sat in my spreadsheet like a weight. But the real cost was harder to calculate. I couldn't date. How do you bring someone home when you live in your parents' basement, and your life isn't your own? When any evening could be interrupted by a text saying Mia needed you to watch the kids. Jordan, the person I was seeing, had been asking me to move to Boston for months. Jordan was a photographer too. We would met through an online collective, spent hours on video calls, talking about light and composition, and what it meant to document invisible things. "They have turned you into a ghost," Jordan said once. "You are there, but nobody sees you." I had had 2 previous gallery opportunities. Real ones, small galleries in Providence wanting to show my work. I had turned them both down, because how could I leave? Who would pick up the kids? Who would help my parents? That is what I told myself. The truth was darker. I was afraid. Invisibility felt safe. If I stayed small, stayed helpful, stayed quiet, then I couldn't fail at being anything else. But my career was plateauing. My Instagram growth had stalled. I couldn't travel for shoots. I couldn't commit to projects. I was building a career about invisible women while being one myself. The irony wasn't lost on me. Then, 3 weeks before my parents' anniversary party, an email arrived. Subject line: Solo Exhibition Opportunity, Invisible Women Series from Marcus Hartwell, Hartwell Gallery, Boston. It was 2 a.m. I was editing photos in my basement. Everyone else was asleep upstairs. I read that email 5 times, hands shaking. The Hartwell Gallery, a real gallery on Newbury Street. They had been following my work for 18 months. They wanted to show 47 pieces, prime gallery space. Opening night the 20th of June, installation the 15th of June through 19th. I called Jordan immediately, voice barely above a whisper so I wouldn't wake anyone. "Is this real, Taylor? This is the Hartwell Gallery. This is real. This is huge." I drafted a response, stared at it for 20 minutes, then clicked send at 2:47 a.m. I would be honored to accept. I didn't tell my family. I needed one thing that was just mine. One thing they couldn't diminish or dismiss or make about themselves. I started planning. Apartment searches in Boston, calculating finances. $28,000 saved Grandma's 15-plus years of photo sales. Enough for first, last, security, and several months of expenses. For once, I had something that belonged only to me. 3 weeks later, at that anniversary party, my parents announced their Bali trip. The 15th of June through 30th. The exact same dates as my installation and opening. I could keep being helpful, or I could finally be seen. Jordan had said something to me the week before that I couldn't stop thinking about. Which feeling feels truest, terrified or free? Part of me wanted to stay invisible. Invisible was familiar. Invisible meant I didn't have to face what I had lost by staying so long. But another part of me, the part that woke up at 2 a.m. to edit photographs, The part that documented women who held up worlds they weren't seen in that part knew the truth. I was already terrified. I had been terrified for 7 years. Terrified of disappointing them, of being called selfish, of proving them right that my photography was just a hobby. Being free couldn't possibly be scarier than that. The party was on Saturday, May 11th. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My parents' house on Riverside Drive in Providence. I had spent 6 hours the day before helping set up. White lanterns strung across the backyard. Tables arranged. Chairs borrowed from the church. 30 people showed up. Extended family. Family friends. Neighbors who had known my parents for decades. I wore a nice dress first time in months. I had hoped, stupidly, to feel like a guest instead of staff. The first hour, I served appetizers, refilled drinks. No one had asked me to. I just did. My mother told her friend, "Taylor's such a help. I don't know what we would do without her." I waited for the second part. The "we are so proud of her" part. It never came. Around hour 2, my sister Mia arrived late with her kids. Aiden was 6, Sophie was 4, both of them immediately sticky and loud. Mia handed me Sophie's hand. "Can you watch them? I need to mingle." She disappeared before I could answer. At hour 3, my father called everyone into the living room. He dimmed the lights, and my mother stood beside him, beaming. "Linda and I have something exciting to share." He pulled up photos on the television. A luxury resort in Bali, private pool villas, spa treatments, tropical excursions, 2 weeks. The 15th of June through 30th, just the family. The room erupted in oohs and ahs. People asked questions. "When are you leaving? How did you find this place? How wonderful." I was holding Sophie on my hip. I asked. Genuinely curious. "That sounds amazing. When should I book my flight?" 30 people turned to look at me. The room went quiet. My mother's smile didn't falter. Her voice was casual, almost light. "You don't need to know, Taylor. You are not part of this trip." I stared at her. "What do you mean?" "Someone has to watch the house, and Mia will need help with the kids. You know how exhausting international travel is for her." Mia laughed. Actually laughed. "It is like having free help. She should be grateful for the experience." My father nodded. "Besides, you cannot afford Bali on your hobby income." Something inside me went perfectly still. Calm. Clear. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't storm out. I smiled slightly. Put Sophie down, and nodded. "You are right," I said. "I do have other plans that week anyway." My mother waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, what plans?" "Just some photography things. Nothing important." She had already turned back to the television, showing someone else the resort photos. That is when I knew. I was done being invisible. I looked around the room. Aunt Caroline, my father's sister, was shifting uncomfortably in her chair. The neighbors looked awkward. My cousin James whispered something to his wife. Jordan, who I had invited as my friend, gripped my hand under the table. I leaned over and whispered, "I am leaving, and I am not coming back." My mother was still talking, still showing photos, still planning a family vacation I wasn't part of while expecting me to hold down the fort at home. "See," my father was saying, "that is the spirit. We knew you would understand." I stood up quietly, grabbed my bag. "I understand perfectly now," I said. No one noticed me leave. They were too busy looking at photos of a place I had never seen because someone had to be the help. On the drive to Jordan's apartment, I finally said the words out loud. "I am accepting the gallery show. I am moving to Boston, and they are not going to know until it is too late to stop me." Jordan glanced over. "You are sure?" I was 31 years old. I had lived in a basement for 7 years. I had given away $163,000 of labor and gotten dismissed in front of 30 people as a reward. I have never been more sure of anything in my life. The Bali trip was the 15th of June through 30th. My exhibition installation was the 15th of June through 19th. Opening night was the 20th of June. I didn't believe in fate, but I believed in this. Sometimes the universe gives you permission to choose yourself. Grandma Lily had given me the money. The gallery had given me the opportunity. My family had given me the reason. All I had to do was go. 3 weeks before that party, I had been in my basement at 2 a.m. Everyone upstairs asleep. Just me, my laptop, and the blue glow of the screen. An email notification appeared. From Marcus Hartwell. Hartwell Gallery subject. Solo exhibition opportunity. Invisible Women series. My hands shook as I opened it. Dear Miss Morrison, we have been following your work for 18 months through your Instagram collective. Your documentary series, Invisible Women, is exactly the kind of intimate, powerful storytelling we want to showcase. We would like to offer you our main gallery space for a solo exhibition installation. The 15th of June 19. Opening night the 20th of June. Please let us know if you are interested. I read it 5 times, then called Jordan, barely breathing. Is this real? This is the Hartwell Gallery, Taylor. This is real. This is huge. I drafted my response. Finger hovering over send for 20 minutes. I would be honored to accept. Sent at 2:47 a.m. I didn't tell my family. I needed to keep one thing sacred. One thing they couldn't diminish, dismiss, or make about themselves. For once, I had something that was just mine. The memory of Grandma Lily came back to me that night. 3 years ago, in the hospice, during one of her last coherent conversations, she had gripped my hand, her skin paper thin, her voice weak but certain. They will keep you small if you let them. An artist needs 2 things, vision and distance. You have the vision. Taylor. You know what you need to do, I had asked her. What if they need me, she smiled. Sad. Knowing, baby. They need you to need them. That is different. Keep your receipts and keep your secrets. You will know when it is time. I had been keeping receipts. The spreadsheet tracking 7 years of labor, screenshots of dismissive texts, calendar entries showing just how much of my life I had given away. I didn't know what I would do with it all. I just knew I needed proof I wasn't crazy. Now, sitting in my basement at 2:47 a.m. with a gallery contract in my inbox, I understood time had come. The Bali trip was the 15th of June 30. My exhibition installation was the 15th of June 19. Opening night was the 20th of June. Sometimes the universe gives you permission to choose yourself. You just have to be brave enough to take it. That night, after the anniversary party, I stayed at Jordan's apartment. We sat on the couch until 2 a.m., and I said it out loud. I am accepting the exhibition, and I am moving to Boston. Jordan looked at me. When installation starts the 15th of June, same day they fly to Bali. That is poetic. That is freedom. The next morning, Sunday, I printed everything. 7 years of calendar entries, showing every school pickup, every grocery run, every emergency babysitting session, text message screenshots. The financial calculation, $163,800. Not for revenge, for clarity. So when they said I was being dramatic or ungrateful, I would have proof, for myself. Monday, I called Marcus Hartwell back. We discussed installation logistics. Timeline. The gallery would provide a $3,000 stipend for expenses. Prints would be priced between $800 and $2,500. We believe in this work, Marcus said. We believe in you. Tuesday, I toured apartments virtually, found a studio in Somerville. $1,400 a month, close to the gallery, close to the photography community I had been part of online, but never in person. Available the 1st of June. I signed the lease on May 28th. Wednesday, I gave notice to my freelance graphic design clients. 2 weeks transition, professional, clean. I referred them to other designers. By the 1st of June, I had moved 80% of my belongings. My family thought I was visiting Jordan for the weekend. They didn't question it. I had a therapy appointment that Tuesday. I had been going for 6 months. Dr. Shah was the first person I had told about the gallery show. How do you feel about this decision? She asked. Terrified, relieved, guilty, free. Which feeling feels truest? I thought about it. Free. And that is what scares me most, that it took me 31 years to choose it. Jordan helped me pack boxes late at night. drove with me to Boston for the apartment signing, installed shelves in my new place at midnight. "You are not abandoning them," Jordan said. "You are finally showing up for yourself." I painted the walls soft gray. For 7 years I had lived in a basement with concrete walls I couldn't change. Now I was choosing my own color. It shouldn't have felt revolutionary, but it did. On the 8th of June, 1 week before their Bali flight, I told my parents I was going to Boston for work from the 15th of June through 30th. My mother barely looked up from her phone. "Perfect timing. You will be gone while we are in Bali anyway." I didn't correct her. Didn't tell her I wasn't coming back. Jordan asked me the night before I left, "What if they find out about the exhibition before you want them to?" I was packing the last box. Then they find out. But I am not giving them the chance to make it about them first. And if they show up? To the gallery? Yeah. I stopped packing. Looked at Jordan. Then, they will finally see me. Really see me. Not as free help, as an artist. Are you ready for that? I have been ready for 7 years. They are the ones who will not be ready. By the 14th of June, I was packed. The basement looked empty, except for the furniture that came with it. 7 years of my life fit into a dozen boxes. The 15th of June, 6 a.m., I was driving to Boston while my family was boarding a plane to Bali. The 15th of June, noon, I was at the Hartwell Gallery, installing my first solo exhibition. They had no idea. The installation took 4 days, 47 photographs hung in 3 connected rooms, each one a portrait of invisible labor, nannies, housekeepers, daughters. Women doing the work that holds up entire worlds they are not seen in. The centerpiece was a self-portrait, me in my parents' basement, surrounded by boxes, laptop glowing. Clock showing 2 a.m. title. Infrastructure, the caption read. They don't see her. They see what she does. Marcus stood beside me on the 19th of June, the day before the opening. "You ready?" I looked at the walls, my work, my story. Visible. "Yeah," I said. "I think I am." What I didn't know, my mother's friend Nancy would see an Instagram post about the exhibition, would send my mother a screenshot while they were in Bali. Would say, "Isn't this your tailor?" What I didn't know. My family would cut their trip short. Return the 19th of June, drive from Providence to Boston. What I didn't know, they would walk into my opening night, and everything would change. Friday, the 20th of June, 7 p.m., the gallery was packed. 120 people, art collectors, critics, photographers, members of the documentary collective I had been part of for years, but never met in person. My work hung on white walls under track lighting. 47 photographs, 3 connected rooms, wine and cheese. The soft murmur of people looking, really looking, at invisible women finally being seen. By 8 of the clock, 3 pieces had sold. Little red dots appeared next to them. Marcus introduced me to collectors. The art critic from the Boston Globe was taking notes. Jordan stood beside me, hand on my lower back. For the first time in my life, I wasn't helping. I was being celebrated. I overheard a collector say to her friend, "The intimacy of these portraits. You can feel the weight." At 8:17 p.m., there was a commotion at the door. I was mid-conversation with a buyer. I turned. My mother walked in, my father. My sister Mia. They were still wearing resort clothes. My mother in a flowy dress. My father in a polo shirt. Mia in jeans and a tank top. The gallery went quiet. My mother's voice cut through the room. Loud, sharp, "Taylor. What is this?" 120 people turned to look. My father approached, looking around like he had entered the wrong building. "We got a message you were having some kind of show." Mia stopped, genuinely surprised. "Wait, you did all this?" I kept my voice calm. "Hello, Mom, Dad, Mia. I wasn't expecting you." My mother walked toward the photographs, laughing dismissively. "This is what you have been doing instead of helping family." She stopped at one photo. Squinted. "Very artistic, Taylor. But when are you coming home? We need you to." Marcus Hartwell stepped forward. "Professional. Cool. Excuse me, are you Taylor's family?" My mother turned. Yes, we are her parents. We had no idea she was doing this. Marcus's smile was polite. Ice underneath. Miss Morrison has been preparing for this exhibition for 18 months. She is one of the most promising documentary photographers working today. My father scoffed. Documentary. These are just pictures of maids and nannies. Marcus's expression didn't change. These are portraits of invisible labor. The show is called Invisible Women. It is about people whose work is essential but unseen. Perhaps you should read the artist statement. Mia had moved to another photograph. She stopped. Froze. Wait. This is our kitchen. The photo showed hands washing dishes, a child's painting on the fridge, the clock showing 11 p.m., the caption beneath read, "After everyone sleeps, she is still working. They call it help. She calls it disappearing." My mother looked closer. "Taylor, did you take pictures of our house?" Another photo nearby, the self-portrait. Me in the basement, boxes around me. Laptop glow. The timestamp, 2 a.m., title, infrastructure, caption. They don't see her. They see what she does. I spoke clearly. The entire gallery listening. Yes, I took that picture at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I had picked up Mia's kids from school, made dinner for you, cleaned the kitchen, and then stayed up to edit photos for this series. In the morning, you asked what I did all day. My mother's face flushed. We never asked you to do those things. You are right, I said. You didn't ask. You expected. There is a difference. My father stepped forward. This is not the place for family drama. You made it the place. At your anniversary party in front of 30 people. Remember? I pulled out my phone, opened the spreadsheet, held it up. I documented 7 years, 25 to 30 hours per week. At $18 an hour, which is below market rate for nanny, cleaning, and assistant work, that is $163,800 in unpaid labor. I showed the phone to Marcus for validation. He nodded slowly. That is substantial. Mia stared. You kept track. For myself, I said, so I would know I wasn't crazy when you called me dramatic. Mia's voice got smaller. I didn't know you felt. I turned to face her fully. You told 30 people I should be grateful for free help, at their anniversary party, that they excluded me from. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. People looked at my family with new eyes. A woman whispered to her friend, loud enough to hear. They didn't invite her to the trip. My mother tried again. Desperate now. Okay, fine. You are upset. We can work this out. Just come home and we will talk about it. Her voice cracked. We came all the way from Bali early to support you. We are your family. I stood very still, very calm. You came because someone told you I was doing something without your permission. That is different from support. And I am not coming home. I don't live there anymore. I moved to Boston 2 weeks ago. My mother's face went white. I have an apartment in Somerville. I have a gallery representing me. I have a career you called a hobby for 7 years. I have a life you never asked about. My mother's voice rose. After everything we have done for you, I cut her off, quiet. Firm. I was never free help, Mom. I was just free, and now I actually am. Silence. Then, from somewhere in the back, someone started clapping. It spread. Slowly at first, then louder. Applause filled the gallery. The collector I had been speaking with earlier approached. I would like to purchase the centerpiece, the self-portrait. That is $2,500, I said. It is worth more. The Boston Globe critic nodded, taking more notes. Jordan put an arm around me, kissed my temple. My mother's face was red, tears streaming. She turned and walked toward the door. My father followed stiffly. We will talk about this later, young lady, Mia lingered. She looked at the photos, really looked. I didn't realize. I know, I said. That was the problem. These are really good, Tay, I know. She left, looked back once. After they were gone, the gallery erupted in supportive energy. People approached me. That took courage. Your work is powerful. Marcus appeared beside me. Well, that was dramatic. He paused. Also, You just sold 6 more pieces. I started laughing. Couldn't stop. 11 pieces sold, $14,750 total. I had done it. I had chosen myself, and the world hadn't ended. It had just started. The exhibition continued for another 2 hours after my family left. By 10 p.m., when the last guests filtered out, I had sold 11 pieces, $14,750 in total sales. Marcus opened a bottle of champagne. Just the three of us, me, him, and Jordan. He raised his glass to invisible women. May they all become visible. On the drive back to my apartment, in Somerville, with soft gray walls and plants on the windowsill, I cried in the passenger seat. Jordan glanced over. You, okay? I keep waiting to feel guilty, I said. I just feel clear. I checked my phone when we got home. 47 missed calls, 23 texts. My mother's messages escalated throughout the night. 8:30 p.m., we need to talk about last night. 9:15 p.m., you embarrassed us in public. 10:42 p.m., how could you air family business like that? 11:58 p.m., call me immediately. 1:23 a.m., you are being incredibly selfish. 3:47 a.m., I cannot sleep. You have broken this family. I waited until 9:30 a.m. Saturday morning, then sent one text. Mom, I am not discussing this over text. Here is what you need to know. 1. I have moved to Boston permanently. 2. I am no longer available for childcare, errands, or unpaid labor of any kind. 3. If you want a relationship with me, it starts with acknowledging what happened, not dismissing it, or asking me to get over it. 4. I am not angry. I am just done being invisible. Don't contact me unless you are ready to have an honest conversation. Not a lecture, not a guilt trip, a conversation. Taylor. 2 hours later, my father responded, This is ridiculous. You are throwing away family over some misunderstanding. We are not perfect, but neither are you. When you are ready to be an adult about this, call us. I read it once, didn't reply. Mia called that afternoon, left a voicemail. Hey Tay, it is me. I know I messed up. I know saying I didn't realize doesn't make it okay, but I legitimately didn't see it. And now I cannot unsee it. Can we talk? Not to fix anything, just to… I don't know. I am sorry. Really sorry. I texted back. Thank you for apologizing. I need some time. But I appreciate this. Sunday afternoon, I changed my phone settings, moved my parents' and Mia's contacts to limited. Calls only. No location sharing. No read receipts. Updated my emergency contacts. Jordan first, Aunt Caroline second. Parents removed. On Monday morning at 9 a.m., my mother showed up at the Hartwell Gallery. The receptionist called Marcus. He went to the lobby. Professional firm. Mrs. Morrison. How can I help you? I need to speak with Taylor. Miss Morrison is not here today. And even if she were, this is her place of work. I would ask you to respect that. I am her mother, and I am her gallerist. If you would like to purchase a piece from the exhibition, I am happy to assist. Otherwise, I will have to ask you to leave. She left, furious. That afternoon, the gallery commission check arrived. $10,325. 70% of the sales. The gallery kept 30. Plus the $3,000 installation stipend. Total, $13,325. Added to my existing savings, $28,000 total. I could support myself. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't dependent on anyone. Rent, $1,400 a month. Living expenses, $2,000. I had a 10-month runway, even without new work. But new commissions were already coming in. I sat on my couch that night. Lily the cat I had adopted her the week before, named after my grandmother, curled beside me. Jordan brought dinner. How does it feel? I thought about it. Like I have been holding my breath for 7 years and finally exhaled. What are you going to do now? I smiled. Whatever I want. Week 1, late June. Mia called me on Monday. Frantic. School pickup. She had forgotten Taylor wasn't available. Had to leave a client pitch early. Lost a potential $50,000 account. Tuesday, she tried emergency daycare. $85 per Dalton Y. Sophie cried the entire time. Wednesday, she called in sick. First time in 2 years, unprofessional. By Friday, she was interviewing nannies. The agency told her $350 per week for after-school care, plus $25 an hour for evenings. 2 weeks' notice required for schedule changes. Mia texted me the 30th of June. Do you have any idea how expensive childcare is? I replied. Yes, $18 an hour. I know exactly. My parents discovered their own costs. Without me, lawn service $240 a month. Grocery delivery, $50 monthly plus tips. Cleaning service, $360 a month. House sitting fees when they traveled. Total, $470 monthly minimum. Just for the services I had provided free. My mother said to my father, Aunt Caroline told me later, I didn't realize how much she actually did. My father, she is being dramatic. She will come around when she runs out of money. My mother, quieter, Robert, what if she doesn't? July. The Boston Globe article published the 7th of July, full page in the arts section. Invisible Women, local photographer illuminates unseen labor, the quote they highlighted. Morrison's work asks us to see what we have trained ourselves to ignore. There was a photo of me in my studio, professional. Serious. An artist. My mother's friend Nancy texted her the article. By mid-July, people my parents knew were commenting, "Your daughter is so talented. Why didn't you tell us?" My mother had to smile, say thank you. Couldn't admit she hadn't known. Mia's friend group saw the Instagram post, one of them. Kelsey messaged the group chat. Wait, your sister is this Taylor Morrison? The Invisible Women photographer? Why didn't you tell us? Mia. I didn't know it was this big. Another friend. This work is incredible. She is so talented. Mia realized she would never paid attention, never asked, never really seen me. On the 15th of July, Mia texted asking to meet. Just coffee? Just talk. I agreed, curious, guarded. We met at Tot Cafe in Harvard Square. 2 p.m. on Saturday, neutral territory, public. I picked the location. Mia arrived 15 minutes early, nervous. She brought a printout, a spreadsheet. I did what you did, I calculated. She showed me her tracking, 1,890 hours minimum over 7 years. Just childcare, conservatively estimated. Didn't include errands, cleaning, emotional labor. At $350 per week nanny rate, $65,000 minimum. I did this because I needed to see it, Mia said. To believe you. I couldn't just take your word, and that is fucked up, isn't it? That I needed proof. She was crying. Really crying. I treated you like an appliance, something that was just there, available. I learned it from Mom. That doesn't make it okay. I exhaled. Number. But it makes it understandable. You treated me the way Mom treated me. You learned it, but you are an adult now. You could have chosen differently. Mia looked down at her hands. Can we try again? Differently, maybe, I said. But I am not going to be available like before. I can be your sister, not your staff, I know. I hired a real nanny, someone I pay. Her name is Rosa. How much? $350 a week, and she is worth every penny. She paused. So were you. I felt something loosen in my chest. Thank you for saying that. I am sorry it took me 7 years to see it. August. My Instagram grew. 12,000 to 18,500 followers. A feature from Faye Woman Artists, shares from documentary collectives. I got a teaching opportunity at Massart. A 2-day workshop on documentary photography ethics. 15 participants. $800. 2 nonprofits hired me for commission work. A women's shelter portrait series. $2,500. An immigrant resource center project. $1,200 monthly income. Stabilized around $4,200 sustainable. I could cover rent, expenses, and save. I started actually dating Jordan, real dates. Not hiding in a basement. I met their friends. Went to gallery openings. Had a life. I forgot what it felt like to be someone's first choice. I told Jordan one night. They kissed me. You are mine. In late August, Mia visited Boston. Brought the kids. She planned the whole-day children's museum. Ice cream, a walk by the river. She didn't expect me to help. I showed up as their aunt played. Left after 3 hours. Aiden asked. How come we don't see you more, Aunt Taylor? Because I live here now, I said. But I am glad to see you today. My mother kept trying. The 10th of July, we miss you. Come home for dinner. Let's talk. I didn't respond. The 28th of July, I saw the Globe article. It was nice. We would love to hear about your work, I replied. Thank you. Nothing more. The 15th of August, cannot you just forgive and move on? This has gone on long enough, I wrote back. I have moved on. That is why I live in Boston now. My father stayed silent through July and August. Then, in early September, left an angry voicemail. You have always been selfish. This whole artist thing proves it. You had a family that loved you, and you threw it away for strangers' approval. Don't come crying to us when your little hobby doesn't work out. I listened once, deleted it, told my therapist, Dr. Shah. I waited to feel hurt. I just felt nothing. He doesn't know me, he never did. The 20th of August, Aunt Caroline reached out. Can I take you to lunch? I have something to tell you. We met in the North End. Italian restaurant, red wine and pasta. Your grandmother told me everything before she died, Caroline said. About the $15,000 she had been saving for years. She knew you had need escape money, about the family dynamics. She saw what Linda was doing to you. The same thing Linda's mother did to her. It is a pattern. Lily made me promise not to interfere unless you chose to leave on your own. She said it had to be your choice, not a rescue. I stared at her. You knew all this time. I knew you were being used. But Lily was right, you had to see it yourself. If I had told you, you might have defended them. You needed to get angry enough to leave. Caroline became a regular presence. Coffee twice a month, she filled in family history, explained how hurt people. Your mother swore she would be different from her mother, Caroline said. But at some point, she became her anyway. The 28th of October, the letter, a handwritten envelope, arrived. My mother's handwriting. The letter was 3 pages long. I have been going to a therapist. Her name is Dr. Martinez. She asked me to list all the things you did for us. It took 3 sessions to finish. When she asked me how often I thanked you, I couldn't remember a single specific time. She asked when I last asked you about your photography. Not dismissed it. Actually asked. I said you never talked about it. She said, why would she, if you never asked? I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't know if I would forgive me, but I need you to know. I see it now. I see you now. And I am sorry I didn't before. I read it 5 times, cried not for what is, but for what could have been. 2 weeks later, I emailed back. Mom, thank you for the letter. And for going to therapy, that takes courage. I need you to understand something. I am not waiting for an apology to decide if I am okay. I already decided I am okay. I made that choice when I left. If you want to rebuild a relationship, it has to be different. I am not your helper. I am your daughter. I am open to trying, but slowly, with boundaries. I am not the same person who lived in your basement. I will not be again. Taylor, the 16th of November. First dinner we met at a restaurant in Boston. 90 minutes. I set a timer. My parents. Mia, Jordan nearby on standby. The first 20 minutes were awkward. Small talk, weather, menu choices. Then my mother, tearful. I read your artist statement. It said the series is about women who hold up worlds they are not seen in. I realized, that was you, in our world. Yes, I said. I am sorry, I am so sorry. My father struggled. We took you for granted. That is the truth. When my mother tried to push, maybe you could come for Thanksgiving, I cut her off. I am spending Thanksgiving with Jordan's family. This is what I mean by boundaries. She stopped, nodded. Okay. I am sorry. Okay. My father asked. For the first time in 7 years, tell me about the photography. How did you get into it? I shared a little cautiously, told him about Grandma Lily's encouragement. I didn't know Mom did that, he said quietly. There is a lot you don't know about me, because you never asked. At exactly 90 minutes, I stood. I need to go, awkward hugs, a promise. Maybe we can do this again in a few weeks. December, they asked to see my apartment. I said yes, 2 hours, Sunday afternoon. They respected the time limit. Looked around at my life photos on walls, plants thriving, evidence of independence. My mother, you have built a beautiful life here. I had to leave to build it, I know. Small shifts, real acknowledgement. Not absolution, but something. 6 months post-gallery. By late December, my career was thriving. Third exhibition scheduled for spring, NYC interest. Teaching workshops regularly, 5,800 monthly income. Family contact remained complicated. Mia, texts 2 to 3 times a week, monthly visits. Relationship rebuilding slowly, genuinely. Mom, bi-weekly phone calls, 30 minutes max. Still in therapy, asking about my life now. Really asking. Dad, limited contact. Email birthday wishes, occasional stilted calls. Pride still an issue, may never fully reconcile. I have accepted that. Caroline, close relationship, monthly dinners, chosen family. What changed? My independence. Mia's awareness. Mom's willingness. What didn't? Dad's full acknowledgement. Complete reconciliation. What I learned. All of those outcomes are okay. I am okay, regardless. Today, 1 year later, I am sitting in my apartment in Somerville. The 20th of June. Anniversary of the opening. Morning light comes through east-facing windows. The walls are covered in new photographs now. A different series. Not Invisible Women. This one's called Visible Self-Portraits of Freedom. It opens in New York next month. My cat Lily is curled on the couch. Coffee mug from Jordan on the desk. Plants thriving on the windowsill. Spider plant, pothos, snake plant. All things that need light and space to grow. Just like me. I look at an old photo sometimes. The self-portrait from my parents' basement, surrounded by boxes, laptop glow. Clock showing 2 a.m., a year ago. I was living in that basement, believing I was helping family. I wasn't helping, I was disappearing. The difference between helping and disappearing is simple. One makes space for everyone. The other erases you. I spent 31 years learning that difference. Here is what I have learned. About family, I used to think family meant obligation. That if you loved someone, you did whatever they needed, whenever they needed it. Without question. But love isn't supposed to erase you. Real love sees you. The family members who matter now are the ones who wanted to see me all along, like Grandma Lily and Aunt Caroline, and the ones willing to learn how, like Mia. Some family relationships heal. Some end. Some stay complicated. All of those outcomes are okay. About self-worth. For years, I believed my value was in my usefulness. What I could do for others. How helpful I could be. That is not value. That is a transaction. My worth isn't in what I produce or provide. It is inherent. It always was. I didn't become valuable when the gallery validated me. I was always valuable. I just finally started believing it. About boundaries. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They make you honest. When I finally said no to being invisible, some people called it betrayal, but you cannot betray people who never saw you in the first place. Saying no to them was saying yes to myself. That is not betrayal. That is survival. If you are watching this, and you have ever felt like furniture in your own family, if you have ever been the one who shows up, helps out, stays quiet, and still gets dismissed. If you have ever wondered if you are being too sensitive when someone treats your time like it is free, I want you to know. You are not selfish for wanting to be seen. You are not ungrateful for needing reciprocity. You are not dramatic for having feelings about being used. You are not a bad person for choosing yourself. You have the right to exist beyond your usefulness. You have the right to build a life people cannot take for granted. You have the right to be visible even if, especially if, it makes others uncomfortable. You have the right to leave spaces that make you small. My relationship with my family isn't perfect now. It may never be. My mom and I talk every couple weeks. We are rebuilding slowly. Mia and I are finding our way to being actual sisters. My dad and I barely speak. That is mostly his choice, and I have made peace with it. I have a career I built in secret because I had to. I have relationships based on mutual respect. I have a life I don't have to hide. I have a home that is mine, walls I chose, colors I picked. I have a cat named after the only person who saw me when I was invisible. I have myself back, the most unexpected thing. I thought leaving would break me. Turns out, they needed me. I was just fine on my own. Better than fine. I was finally free. Someone once told me invisibility was safe. They were wrong. Invisibility isn't safety. It is erasure dressed up as peace. True safety comes from being seen and choosing who gets to see you. You were never the problem. You were just surrounded by people who needed you to believe you were. This morning I picked up my camera, went to the window. Morning light, perfect. I took a self-portrait, not hidden, not in a basement, in my own light, in my own space, visible, clear. Unapologetic, I looked at the image on the screen and smiled. Thank you for listening to my story, for staying till the end. If this resonated with you, I would love to hear your experience in the comments. Have you ever had to choose between being helpful and being seen? What did you choose? How did it turn out? Hit subscribe if you want more stories about finding yourself after family, setting boundaries, and building a life that is actually yours. And if you are in that basement right now, literal or metaphorical, know this. You can leave. You can build something. You can be seen. Take care of yourself. You are worth it. I am Taylor Morrison. I am a photographer, and I am finally visible.